Recovery protocol number 2, cold water therapy. Now, when I first heard that this is actually from the Quran, I was a little bit surprised, but then I remembered, or I was reminded of the story of Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, when in Surah Sa'd, ayah number 42, Allah commanded him to strike the ground with his foot and a spring of cool water for washing and drinking came from it. And of course, I have the ayah on the slideshow here. So there are actually a lot of benefits to cold water therapy. Of course, in the case of Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, by Allah's permission, he was healed of a very, dire and severe affliction. But for you and I, when we're just trying to improve our muscle soreness and our recovery and boost our testosterone and dopamine levels, there are scientifically proven benefits of cold water therapy, physiologically, psychologically, that can increase your physical recovery, your mental resilience. I mean, there's so many benefits to these things. So cold water immersion is associated with reduced muscle soreness, which helps constrict blood vessels and reduce inflammation and flush out lactic acid buildup, which is a lot of what causes that soreness. But you need to be careful because inflammation, a certain type of inflammation, is actually good the first 3 hours after you lift to stimulate muscle growth. It's actually part of the muscle growth response, and other studies show that if you do cold water immersion within 3 to 6 hours of your lifting session, meaning like after, not before is fine, but after, you reduce the muscle hypertrophy response, meaning you're gonna grow less muscle. So it's very important that if you're gonna do this, don't do it within 3 hours after lifting, or you can actually reduce your muscle growth. Either do it before lifting, and then you're gonna get a crazy dopamine surge, which is awesome. You can do it on your rest day, or if you're gonna do it on a training day, I would wait 6 hours after training, minimum 3. That way you don't mess up the muscle growth aspect of things. Another benefit is increased circulation. So when you expose yourself to cold water, it's gonna stimulate blood flow, and that's gonna direct blood to the organs. And then when you warm up afterwards, your circulation is boosted, you get oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, everything goes really good. Additionally, you're gonna get a lot of mental clarity, motivation, energy, and just the mental aspect of resilience. Regular cold exposure has been shown to increase mental sharpness, mental alertness, mood, stress resilience, and this is attributed to the fact that cold water exposure can increase your dopamine by up to 250%. That's crazy, and it lasts a long time, right? Which is awesome. I mean, people take, they prescribe children with ADHD Adderall to increase their dopamine through a different pathway, but it's not natural, and it causes all kinds of damage and side effects and all that. Because this is a natural way to increase your motivation, your focus, everything, and it feels natural. That's the most important part, because it is, and it's healthy. As long as you're not prone to hypothermia. Always, with all these protocols, check with your doctor first. Now, in addition to this actually activates the immune system, increasing white blood cell count and stimulating your metabolic rate, which can help with your overall immunity, which actually helps with muscle recovery. Your immune system actually helps recover your muscles after training. So the stronger your immune system is, with stress management, cold exposure, other techniques that we can use, absolutely makes a huge difference. Just again, be mindful of hypothermia and speak with your doctor first. So if your doctor approves, what I would definitely recommend is start with short intervals, 20 to 30 seconds in a cold shower or partial immersion, okay? If you've never done a cold plunge before, you're prone to hypothermia. I mean, if you're prone to hypothermia, you should probably never do it. But if you've never done a cold shower or an ice bath before, and you go and you just jump in, you try to stick to 3 minutes, you're gonna be very miserable. You might even be traumatized and never wanna do it again. But if you just, do 20, 30 seconds, this is a good way to baby step yourself, okay? Once you start to adapt and become more resilient and used to it, you can try to do 3 to 4 sessions a week, or you can even try to do it every day. Just make sure you time it optimally around your training. So when I just lifted and I always take a shower afterwards to freshen up for work or whatever it may be, or for family, I'm not gonna do the cold at the end of my shower as I otherwise normally would, because it's gonna blunt my hypertrophy response. Versus if I'm taking a warm shower in the morning, I get all relaxed, it feels good, because I actually like doing the alternation between warm and cold showers. It's called the contrast bath, very helpful for these things as well. Actually, my dad taught me this recovery protocol when I was a kid, and I used to run, my legs would get sore, and it really helped. And when I would play soccer as a kid, but very, very helpful. So again, maybe if I'm doing it in the morning, I'll finish with the cold to sharpen myself up, get my dopamine up before Fajr without needing caffeine. This is a great protocol actually to wake yourself up, because obviously if you wake up for Tahajjud and Fajr, you're not gonna get sunlight exposure to wake you up, and you don't wanna take caffeine that early, and you wanna let your hydration and yourself naturally wake up. So the cold shower is a great way to jumpstart that. And I start with warm, just get my body moving, blood moving, everything, relaxation, reduce the stiffness, and then boom, cold, boom, you're focused, you're ready to crush it in everything that you do, and be 100% focused in your ibadah, your Quran afterwards, even making your du'as to Allah and Tahajjud. Boom, get it done. Make sure you wake up 30 minutes before Fajr so you can have enough time to do that, and then pray Tahajjud, inshallah. Focus and not rush it. Now, as far as duration and temperature, so again, I'm gonna attach a couple protocols here in the slideshow and possibly down below, but essentially there are a couple different practical recommendations for how to do it. And you definitely wanna make sure that you're breathing slow and you don't just like jolt yourself and start jumping around if you get in the cold shower, because then you're just gonna have this crazy adrenaline response. It's gonna be really stressful for you. So the whole point is to try to calm yourself down, do deep breathing. There was actually a program that one of my associates was running that was teaching people like emotional intelligence. And one of the first things that he would do is he would start having them take a cold shower every day to train them to not be reactive to shocking circumstances around them, which actually trained them to become more emotionally intelligent and in better control of their emotions, which is quite interesting. So this is one of the psychological benefits, of course, but in general, just make sure you check with a doctor, make sure that, you do it in balance or moderation. It should be invigorating, not overwhelming. And if you overdo it, it can stress out your body. Again, always speak to the doctor first. Don't be getting hypothermia on me here, because that's definitely not good for you. And of course, listen to your body. If the discomfort becomes excessive, always check with the doctor. But if it does end up being something that you can do, like a short cold shower in the morning or finishing your warm showers with cold, it definitely boosts your productivity and your dopamine overall. I love doing it after a run because you're so hot after a run, then boom, you blast yourself with cold, and the run isn't stimulating muscle growth, so you can do a cold shower afterwards, boom, you feel amazing. Or let's say middle of the day you're feeling tired, boom, take a cold shower, boom, you're invigorated, right? A lot of different things you can do. And again, what you can also do is I'll mix the contrast shower where I'll take a warm shower, right, to just open everything up, because there's a lot of benefits to that I have listed in the slides and notes as well. And then from there, inshallah, it's gonna make a huge difference. So that's cold water therapy. Implement it whatever capacity. And even if you just make wudu with cold water in the morning, you know, it can actually really give you that dopamine boost because the cold exposure itself wakes you up. Even, you know, walking to Fajr at the masjid or getting out of your car in the parking lot and walking from the parking lot to the musalla during the winter wakes you up because the cold exposure does increase your dopamine, subhanAllah. So cold water therapy, I had practiced it before, but I didn't realize that it was in the Quran as well. So now, inshallah, when we do it, let's think about Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. Let's think about emulating the best of creation that Allah has given us, which are the prophets, as role models. And let's start to think, hey, you know what? Allah designed our body in such an amazing way. Let's appreciate it. Just like hijama, a specific practice used for healing by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba. Let's also look at cool water therapy and inshallah get the benefits. Now we're going to get into section 3, inshallah.